So, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, ma'am. We are the group 7 and we will going to discuss about the chapter 9 methods. So, sa chapter na to, we will going to tackle all about methods, why we need to use them, and malalaman natin yung body of the method and so on. So, let's start. Pa-scroll ko sa subroutine in programming. And so, we use method for a certain task, especially for those complex one. Yung method is like a breaking down the main problem into smaller and manageable tasks. And those smaller tasks are like piece of puzzle na pagsasamahin to solve the entire problem. So, sa C# programming, yung smaller task na yun is called subroutines. Yan, which specifies as method. Yung methods are like little helpers that performs specific tasks. Pa-scroll sa what is method. And so, what is method? A method is a tool in programming that helps solve specific problems. It consists of a program's logic. Method gives us the opportunity to use a simple block to build a bigger programs. So, pa-scroll sa example ng methods. Ayan. So, this is the example of a method. As you can see, we have the block of codes here which calculates the rectangle's area. So, it has the class static, return type, which is double, and method name na get rectangle area. Meron din tayong parameters, method body, and return statement. So, why to use methods? Scroll down. Scroll down po. Yan. So, we use method for better structured program and more readable code. This makes our code easier to understand, maintain, and modify by the other people na mag-analyze dito, which is mas magiging madali sa kanila magsagawa ng maintenance and mag-add ng features kasi ginagawa ng method yung code natin na well-structured and readable. So, ayun na po. Next reporter.
So, yung next procedure or method na pwede natin gamitin sa pagpo-program is to avoid duplicated code. So, duplicated code means writing the same piece of code in multiple places. So, yung paggamit ng method, tinutulungan tayo nito na maiwasan yung paggamit ng duplicate code by allowing us to write code once and use it in different parts of our program. So, tinutulungan tayo nito hindi lang sa pag-manage ng time, but to also makes the program easier to read and understand. The next procedure is the code reuse. Kapag meron kang piece of code na kailangan mong gamitin more than once, pwede itong magamit sa method. So, magagamit natin to by declaring yung set of instruction nito kapag kailangan natin ng mga specific task na ma-execute. So, itong use naman ng code reuse, this makes the program more organized, easier to maintain, and reduces the chance of making mistakes. Then next. Next is the procedure on how to declare, implement, and invoke a method. First is the declaring of a method. So, dito nagre-register tayo ng mga set of instructions sa ating program. Kumbaga parang ginagamit natin tong pagde-declare, kung sinasabi natin sa program na, uy, may method dito. So, kumbaga kinocall niya yung instruction by using a curly brackets, especially sa program language na C#. So, next is implementing or creating a method. Dito naman exactly kung saan tayo mismo sumusulat ng code para sa isang specific tasks. It's like putting the detailed instructions inside the method. Then next is the invoking a method. Once na makapag-declare na or makapag-implement na ng method, we can use it by calling it. Dito naman, this is like, sinasabi natin sa program na, okay, go and perform the task now. Then next is declaring our own method. Bago tayo makapag-create ng ating sariling method, it is crucial to know where we can declare it. Sa C#, yung method, it can only be declared within the curly brackets of a class. So, hindi natin pwedeng i-declare yung method sa loob ng isa pang method. Then, next is, where is method declaration allowed? So, sa C#, yung method, dinedeclare natin to between the opening and closing brackets of a class. Yun nga, tulad ng nabanggit natin, hindi natin to pwedeng i-declare sa loob ng isa pang method. So, for the summary ng report ko, yung methods, hinihelp tayo na to na ma-organize yung code natin and to prevent repetition and make programs more readable. Yung pag-declare ng method, it's like telling the program na, here's a task we want to do. Implementing it is writing the specific instructions, and invoking it is telling the program to go ahead and perform the task. Next.
So, yung next na method is declaration. So, the method declaration is crucial for defining its behavior and accessibility within the program. It involves the specifying the method's return type, name, and parameters. This declaration sequence is standardized with the return type first, followed by the method name and parameter list, enclosed in round brackets. While access modifiers like public, baba nga ko ng konti. Baba pati, sa may static void. Followed by the method name. So, while access modifiers like public and static can precede the declaration, so optional lang sila. The static keyword, although not mandatory, is recommended for small programs and serves a special purpose, which will be explained later. Void is used as the return type, indicating that the method does not return any value. The structured approach to method declaration ensures clarity and consistency in program design and functionality. Next method is signature. Bababa. Yeah. So method signature, it essential in programming, comprises the method's name and its parameter list. It uniquely identifies a method within a program. So the return type is excluded from the method signature. This exclusions ensures clarity when distinguishing between methods, especially when two methods differ only in their return value types. This approach avoids ambiguity in methods calls and enhances program readability and reliability. So next method is names. Method names. Okay. A method name is like its label. It tells us what task that method is designed to accomplish. When we want to use a method, we simply call it by typing its name. If the method needs any additional information to do its job, we provide that information when we call it. So sa example, pababa po. For example, in the given code, the method name is print logo. It's indicating that it's responsible for printing a logo. Next is rules to name a method. Pababa pa konti. The rules provided by Microsoft for naming methods in C# are designed to promote clarity and consistency in code. Following these guidelines, such as starting method names with a capital letter, applying Pascal case, and using verbs or combinations of verbs and nouns. It helps other programmers quickly understand a method's purpose without needing to examine its implementation details. So, while these rules are not mandatory, adhering to them contributes to well-structured and readable code, aligning with best practices advocated by experienced developers worldwide. So, example, pababa pa no? Dalawang example dito. Yeah. So, examples provided that illustrate the difference between well-named and poorly named methods, emphasizing the importance of descriptive method, name for understanding the code, functionality at a glance. Next is modifiers. Modifiers in C# provide additional information to the compiler about certain aspects of code. So example include access modifiers like public and private, which control the visibility of methods. A method declared as public can be accessed by any class, while a private method is accessible with the current assembly. Additionally, methods can be declared as static, meaning they can be called without needing an instance of the class. These modifiers play a crucial role in controlling the accessibility and behavior of methods in C# code. Next is implementation. Creation of own method. The implementation of a method involves writing the code that will be executed when the method is called. This code is placed within the method's body and represents the logic and functionality of the method. In other words, it's where you define what the method will actually do when invoked in your program. So next report.
So next is the body of a method. Method body, we call the piece of code that is placed in between the curly bracket na directly follow the method declarations. For example, yung makita mo daw po yung body of method sa loob ng curly bracket. Yung example na yan is yung code goes here in the method's body. Ayan yung sinasabi na method body. Next example is yung the real job done by the method is placed exactly in the method body. So the algorithm used in the method to solve the particular task is placed in the method body. So next example is yung makita natin sa loob ng curly bracket is console.writeLine Microsoft and console.writeLine www.microsoft.com. So ayun yung sinasabi na algorithm used in the method to solve particular task. Next, local variables. Whenever we declare a variable inside the body of the method, we call that variable local variable for the method. To name a variable, we should follow the identifiers rules in C# refers to chapter, primitive types, and variables. So, for example nyan, ito, yung static void main, nasa loob yung int x equals 3 and int x equals 4. Ayan yung example ng local variable na identifiers sa rules in C#. The compiler will not let's use the name x for two different variable and will return a message similar to the one below. Then, invoking a method, invoking or calling a method is actually the process of execution of the method's code placed into its body. It is very easy to invoke a method. The only thing that has to be done is to write the method's name, followed by the round bracket and semicolon. So, ito yung example niya, yung method underscore name. Then, yung sa best practice naman, best practice when use methods, yung sinasabi doon, yung magbibigay ako ng mga halimbawa ng best practices when using methods. First, naming a method. Yung pipili ka ng ipapangalan sa method na kaugnay doon sa ginagawa mong process o dapat yung maikling discrete. Then yung pangalawa, yung paano yung pag-flow ng method. Doon kasi yung susundan yung flow ng isang method o isang task para gawin o hiwalay yung mga gawain sa iba't ibang methods upang mapanatili yung pagiging
organized at madaling maintindihan ng code. Then, yung pangatlo is yung parameterization. Doon kasi yung mga methods ay kailangan na may input na ipapasa bilang ayun yung parameters sa mga gumagamit ng variables o sa global scope. Ito yung magbibigay daan para sa code na mas madaling i-reuse o madaling maintindihan ng method. Then yung pang-apat yung documentation. Doon dapat nakalagay yung mga method na ipapaliwanag sa ganda ng parameters. Then yun lang po.